the long, deep shadow of slavery, a new struggle began. A struggle not for freedom from chains, but for an identity, for dignity, for a place in a world that still saw us as less than whole. From the ashes of bondage, a new generation of leaders would have to rise. But one voice rose above the rest, a voice that dared to dream of black kings and queens, of black empires and black pride. A voice that would ignite a movement of millions, a fire of self-realization that would spread across the globe. He was a prophet, a visionary, a showman, a fighter. He was Marcus Garvey. This is the story of the man who taught a scattered and forgotten people to see themselves as a nation. The man they called the Black Moses.
We still rise after America, creators of sound and soul, hands that built the future up from home, from heart, from home.
Marcus Mosiah Garvey was born not in the heart of America, but on the sun-drenched shores of colonial Jamaica. He grew up in a world where the legacy of slavery was still a fresh, open wound, where power and privilege were determined by the shade of your skin. But in the pages of books, he discovered a different world, a world of great men, of powerful ideas, of a black history that had been deliberately erased and forgotten.
If other races have their great men, their heroes, their nations, where are ours? Why are we taught only of our subjugation and not of our glory? It cannot be that we have done nothing.
Garvey's Jamaica was a microcosm of the colonial world. He saw firsthand how economic and political power were concentrated in the hands of a white minority, while the black majority toiled for their benefit. This experience was fundamental. It instilled in him a burning desire to uplift his race, not just politically, but economically, and most importantly, psychologically.
His quest for knowledge and understanding took him across the world, where he saw the same story repeated everywhere. Black people divided, dispossessed, and exploited. In 1916, he arrived in Harlem, the burgeoning capital of Black America, with a vision. He had founded the Universal Negro Improvement Association in Jamaica, but it was in the fertile, restless ground of Harlem that his movement would truly take root.
Brothers and sisters, children of a mighty people, gather round, gather round. For too long we have stood on these corners waiting for others to define who we are. But I stand before you today to remind you we are a nation, not a problem, a people of promise, not a people of pity. The world may see us as scattered stones, but I see us as the foundation of a new civilization rising.
Another man on a soapbox promising the moon. We've seen plenty of those. But this one speaks with a fire I've never heard before. He speaks of Africa not as a lost home, but as a future empire. He speaks of us not as victims, but as builders.
From his small, humble beginnings, Marcus Garvey built an empire of ideas. The UNIA became the largest mass movement in African American history, with millions of members worldwide. At its heart was a simple, yet revolutionary message: self-reliance. Garvey urged black people to build their own businesses, their own institutions, their own destiny.
Up, you mighty race! You can accomplish what you will. We will build a new world, a world of our own making, a world where the black man is the master of his own fate.
The UNIA was more than a political organization. It was a cultural phenomenon. It gave people a sense of belonging, a sense of pride that had been systematically denied to them for centuries. The parades, the uniforms, the titles, it was all part of a brilliant, deliberate strategy to instill a sense of nationhood and self-worth in a people who had been told they were worthless.
Garvey's most audacious and ambitious dream was the Black Star Line. A fleet of steamships owned and operated entirely by black people, a tangible link to Africa and a powerful symbol of economic power. It captured the imagination of millions. For the first time, black people were not just passengers on someone else's journey. They were the owners of the vessel.
I may only have a few dollars to my name, but I'm buying a piece of that ship. It's not just a ship. It's our freedom. It's our future. It's a message to the world that we are a people to be reckoned with.
But the dream was fraught with peril. Inexperienced management, overpriced and faulty ships, and the relentless hostile scrutiny of the US government created a perfect storm. The Black Star Line, the pride of the movement, began to take on water, both literally and figuratively. Garvey's immense power and influence did not go unnoticed. To the US government, he was a dangerous radical, a threat to the established racial order. J. Edgar Hoover, the young, ruthless director of the Bureau of Investigation, made it his personal mission to destroy him. They couldn't silence his voice, so they attacked his enterprise, the very symbol of his success.
The mail fraud case against Garvey was, by modern legal standards, incredibly weak and transparently motivated. The prosecution focused on a single empty envelope that was used to solicit stock for a ship that hadn't been purchased yet. It was a politically motivated prosecution, a strategic move designed to decapitate the largest and most influential black movement in the country at the time.
They say I am a criminal. My only crime is to have dared to dream of a free and powerful black race. My only crime is to have awakened the sleeping giant of the Negro people. You can imprison my body, but you can never, ever imprison my ideals.
Convicted and imprisoned, Garvey's American dream was shattered. In 1927, his sentence was commuted, but he was immediately deported, never to return to the country where he had built his empire. From exile, he fought tirelessly to keep the flame of the UNIA alive. But the movement, without its charismatic and unifying leader, began to fracture and fade. Marcus Garvey died in London in 1940, his dream of a global black empire seemingly in ruins. But his ideas did not die with him. they became the seeds of future movements, the foundation upon which others would build. He was the spiritual father of Black pride, the architect of a new and powerful consciousness.
You simply cannot understand the civil rights movement, the Black Power movement, or even modern Pan-Africanism without understanding Marcus Garvey. He was the first to build a mass movement based on the simple, radical idea that black is beautiful. He taught a people who had been told they were inferior to see their African heritage not as a source of shame, but as a source of strength and glory. That was his true, enduring, and revolutionary legacy.
Marcus Garvey, a man of grand visions and at times tragic flaws. He may have failed to build a physical empire, but he succeeded in building something far more lasting, an empire of the mind. He taught a scattered, oppressed, and forgotten people to stand up, to look in the mirror, and to see royalty. His voice echoes in the halls of history, a thunderous, undeniable reminder that our story did not end with slavery. In fact, it was just beginning.